Today, you're joining us because you want to get a dispensary license in Arizona. You want to get into the marijuana business in Arizona. That's what we're going to be discussing because we're going to be going over how you get your initial marijuana establishment license on today's episode of Welcome. My name is Tom. You can find me by Googling Cannabis Lawyer and then clicking on my website, Cannabis Industry Lawyer. It is an online resource where I create content just like this one. This one, we're going to answer how you get that marijuana establishment license in Arizona. People are going to want these, especially between January 19th and March 9th of 2021. Why? Because Arizona just released their rules, and these rules apply for there might be 10 dispensary licenses that will go up in the very rural areas, but you still want them because you can distribute and you could also manufacture. Of course, that doesn't make this any cheaper or easier. So one of the things that I like to do is to go over these so you can understand them, and then we'll go over it together, and I'll tell you where you can find more information, right? And so the first thing that you probably want to do is head on over to the Arizona Department of Health Services, and you can go to their rulemaking, and their adult use rules are there, and you can click on them, and they're going to take you to this draft rules, and we're going to specifically be going over Rule R9-18-303. That must be their however they title statutes and citations. They're different all over the world or country. Same with the world. So it's your initial marijuana establishment license. And they say, except pursuant to subsection C. And I'm like, well, what's that? Is that going to be the social equity round? No, these are for these initial ones that are coming up. The social equity 26 in Arizona are going to be further away. It may be something similar to this, but with the social equity, there is probably going to be more disclosures of the ownership percentages more than what this just standard one has. And then what I did to help you guys understand this even more, I created this page on our blog, how to open a cannabis dispensary in Arizona. And then I inserted these rules in there so you can read up on them in there as well. And if you wanted to start a dispensary in Arizona, you click on this Get Started button, you go over here, and that's where you can complete this. This is our little form. So complete our little form so that you can get in touch with us so that we can help with you on your cannabis applications for your Arizona app. And then we're also going to be updating our map here for Arizona because this is going over the rulemaking for your initial marijuana establishment license. So let's go over what is going to be in that application. You're going to have to provide something to the department. The department will have an actual application. We'll go over the application in January when we actually have a physical copy of it. But you can start planning, and you really need to start planning now because by reading this, what do you need? You need a mailing address, telephone number, and email address, cultivation site, retail location, manufacturing site. Those are the most important things right there. The physical address. So you actually need dirt. That's going to make things more expensive and more difficult because you need to make sure that that dirt is appropriately zoned. Get looking for that real estate right now. The county in which the proposed marijuana establishment is located, that one's kind of straightforward. For business organizations not publicly traded, you need the name, residence address, date of birth of each principal officer or board member. This will also be another one of the forms that Arizona will release here in a few more weeks. For business owners, you have to disclose more than 10% if they're publicly traded. So I guess maybe if Harvest wanted to get another one, if they're allowed to. Whether the applicant agrees to the department to submit supplemental requests for information. Of course, you're going to agree to that, right? Because you want the license. And then you will not operate until the proposed marijuana establishment is inspected and obtains an approval to operate from its department. That is going to be more in the next section, 304. We'll get to that after we finish this section. Then you're also going to have an attestation that you will be compliant with the rules and also the laws. And an attestation that the information that you provide to the department is true and correct. Again, they aren't trying to give it to fraudsters. And then the signatures. Then you're going to have documentation the applicant is in good standing with the Arizona Corporation Commission. I'm assuming the Arizona Corporation Commission would be like a Secretary of State's office, or maybe they just want you to apply as a corporation, as opposed to as a business organization like an LLC, or the Arizona Corporation Commission also applies to LLCs. Let's see. And then you're going to need to give the information above for all the principal officers and board members. Boards are important, and so are principal officers. Certifying that the zoning compliance with any local zoning restrictions. Provide signed data within 60 calendar days of the application. So reach out to those local municipalities now. Hopefully they already have medical zoning established so that you could just operate under those. Arizona's been medical for so long, so they should already have zoning fairly well worked out, we'd hope. And then you're going to need the ownership of the physical address. So who literally owns the dirt? Signed data within 60 days of the application, or permission from the owner. And then that would have to be signed, notarized, and dated within 60 days of the application. So if you either own the residence, real estate, or you're leasing it, and then you need documentation. This is where this is what's really probably going to tip the scales. Within 60 days before the application, you have at least $500,000 in funds available. So there you go. Like, some states make it more competitive and they're going to score things and pick winners and losers. Other states are more like Arizona, where they really haven't said like, hey, we want your business plan. Hey, we want your articles of organization and how your shareholder agreements all work. They did say, hey, we want you to have $500,000 though. And then you have to pay the application fee, obviously. Oh, of course. And then in C, this is like the exception for the current operators. The exception for the current operators are there. And then you have to do this application before and you get that in. And then you go into number 4, unless you're a current operator. If you're a current operator, you're done. Now you can start operating your retail location that is adult use. However, you're not done if this is your first one. Now you have to apply for approval to operate a marijuana establishment. So after you've gotten that, within 18 months after the marijuana establishment license was issued, you now need to get this approval. And it's a lot of the same information, but a little bit more specificity. The name and license number of the marijuana establishment. So you've already gone through that first wicket. Now you can get into this one. Physical address, marijuana establishment's transaction privilege tax number from the Department of Revenue, very important. Then your proposed hours, whether the marijuana establishment will submit to supplemental requests. Of course you will. Whether the marijuana establishment's retail location is ready for inspection. Hopefully by that time that you're applying it is. And then when will it be ready if it's not? And then some more attestations. The zoning. They also then want you to furnish a copy of the local zoning that says that you have the conditional use permit and or special use permit in which to operate. They want to know which ones you're going to operate. Are you going to be in cultivation, manufacturing, or preparation of edibles? A list of which following is requesting approval to provide at the retail. Okay. So what do you want at the retail location? Cultivation, manufacturing of marijuana products, or preparation of edibles. And then, of course, if you're going to be requesting approval for the preparation of edibles, you also then need to get your food establishment issued under a different regulatory article of the Arizona laws. And then a site plan drawn to scale of the retail location showing streets, property lines, contiguous, outdoor areas, vacuole fences, security features. That's going to be in a different aspect of the regulations. It's further on. Fire hydrants and access to water mains, floor plans drawn to scale. And then it needs to demonstrate all of these things. Interestingly enough, I don't see ADA compliance. All right, and that is your 2 hurdles that you're going to need to go over. So please do head on over to Cannabis Industry Lawyer and look at how to open a dispensary. And now we're going to update our map to include the name of this video that we have currently. It's Arizona Marijuana Establishment Licenses and how you can obtain one of those. The license window is coming up in Arizona. There's not very many that are open right now. There's probably about 10-ish, somewhere in that, because it has to do with the jurisdiction and how like the ballot initiative was structured. So if there's a dispensary open in a particular county, then you can go get it. And then, of course, you can get all the, as a vertically integrated license, you can get the other things and then hopefully distribute your products throughout to other retail locations that aren't in the middle of nowhere in Arizona. If you want our help, please do shoot me an email at tom@collateralbase.com. And of course, you can head on over to cannabisindustrylawyer.com and click on one of our many Get Started pages. And then tell us all about who you are, what you are trying to accomplish, what your budget is, all those things, so that we can put together your team's plans and make sure that you're adequately capitalized. The $500,000 proof of funds, great, really open for the masses. Again, we're going to close on just saying like that is what is required to do your operations for your marijuana establishment in the state of Arizona. We do not yet know what it's going to be for the social equity ones. Those ones are forthcoming. We don't have the rules on those yet. Stay tuned for this spring in Arizona to see how the 26 social equity licenses will be, what their criteria will be. I'll guarantee their application won't be this straightforward. Not that we've seen that application, but they're very often in social equity. There's social equity aspects, and so you have to have formational issues with your business documents. It didn't really even say anything about the business documents. Fairly well open in the open. So, that explains why there's a lot more licensing agreements in the Arizona industry. Okay, cool. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you found this summation of how to apply for your Arizona marijuana establishment license, give us a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button, and then also click the bell, because you'll get notice once we have the actual application itself. We'll go over one of these, the application itself, and I'll add that to one of our pages on CannabisIndustryLawyer.com. And then you'll also get notice of what's going to happen with the social equity round, because that's the larger round in Arizona. That one's actually 26 licenses, not these perhaps 10 in very, very underserved areas, hoping to do the vertical play. Talk to you guys real soon. See you on Wednesdays at 2 for another episode of Cannabis Legalization News. I'll talk to you real soon.